Special thank you to our sponsors of Russ Reels Live, the Alzheimer's Association, and Mugs Coffee House in Lebanon, Oregon. For more information on the Alzheimer's Association and how to give to this amazing organization, go to alz.org. Thank you to Joyce Knopf for underwriting this ad. For more information on Mugs Coffee House in Lebanon, Oregon, and their amazing coffee, go to mugslebanon.com. Ta-da! Welcome to Russ Reels Live. I'm Russ. There you go. Russ here on Russ Reels Live. We're here every Thursday. I can't talk tonight. We're here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And we are here with amazing people that talk on amazing subjects. So this is a panel-driven and topic-driven show. And I'm so glad that you've joined us tonight because we have a great topic that a lot of my clients bring up, and that is social media. Where do I start? How do I get going? What really works? How do I integrate this into my business and all that I'm doing? Is it worth it? And so we're going to talk about that tonight. I've got great guests on tonight. So Cami Hoyza, the amazing Cami Hoyza, Zohar America, and Alan Hennessy, the digital mentor, is with me. And Kara Campazano is with us via video today. And she is an amazing social media strategist also. So we got some great minds that know what we're talking about, and they're here to really add value to you and do some great and amazing things. So again, I just want to thank you for being here. We're here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your listening and viewing pleasure. And I want to remind you that, you know what? I love engagement and interaction. So today, please engage. We'll get in those comments, start tagging your friends, start sharing this out. In fact, right now you can hit that share button, share it out, let people know there's going to be amazing information here, great people. You don't want to miss it. So share this out to your friends, tag your friends. Doesn't matter whether you're watching live or on replay, you can do it either way. So get this shared out there, get that going. And I love to connect. So if you want to connect with me and learn more about me, go to russhedge.com. You can connect with me through social media, my email, my phone number. You can even schedule time directly on my calendar. Love to connect with you, meet with you. So please, please do that today. Also, wanted to tell you that if you are not already part of our YouTube community, please go to russreels.live. russreels.live will get you there, and you can subscribe on YouTube. That's right. Subscribe and you will get all the past content of Russ Reels Live, Marketing with Russ, all of that, and notices about upcoming content. So go to russreels.live today and you can be part of that. So just wanted to let you know that this is such an action-packed show. I got to get the things rolling now and get people in. So we're going to start with Kara, who she and I spoke yesterday, and she's going to give a little insight to get us started today. And so let's take a look at that. Here we go. Let's get this thing started. Hey, Kara, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking your time.
Yeah, Russ, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out, as always.
Well, listen, we want to talk a little bit about social media. Where do I start? Take it away.
This is such a huge question because there's so many layers, but I think I have a few minutes to explain it. Honestly, you start where you're comfortable with is what I usually tell people first. If you know Facebook the most, use it. If you know Instagram or TikTok, use that platform, or LinkedIn, which is where we hang out a lot. Use the platform that you're most comfortable with and start creating consistent content, posting consistently, and create that consistent content. Once you've got that mastered of being consistent with frequency of posting and your tone of voice and so consistency with engagement as well, then start branching out. but branch out to where your audience actually hangs out. Not where you like hanging out and where you're comfortable hanging out with, but here's where like your psychology brain has to come on. This is where you try to figure out your ideal client and what their likes are and their dislikes are and where they hang out. Or is it a 35-year-old mom trying to plan out her kiddo's birthday party? She might be on Pinterest or Instagram for inspiration. Or if you're a landscaper, for example, and trying to reach other landscapers, maybe they're on TikTok for inspo or Facebook. Once you have an idea of your ideal client and their behaviors, as well as like their geographical location, start posting your content on those platforms that they're going to be the most active on. It might be uncomfortable for you at first, but and awkward maybe, but it's a way for you to reach a new and larger audience. I know, your primary platform is LinkedIn, right? Or maybe it's YouTube.
Well, it all depends who I'm talking to. Usually it would be LinkedIn or Facebook, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, also YouTube is huge because it's a great library for things. But I think what's amazing, what you're talking about too, is the consistent engagement factor, getting stuff up there and engaging with people consistently. I like that.
Yeah, I love it when an engagement is huge. Obviously, when we engage more on people's business accounts or their personal accounts, depending on the type of business you are and how you make your money, that is when the algorithm starts sharing it more to other accounts, right? So the more you engage and the more people engage back with you, you have the opportunity to reach such a wider audience. What is so fun when we do your lives, especially on LinkedIn, is like, how many comments can we get? And it's always a competition, right? And so if we're saying it out loud, okay, we're at 200. Okay, let's go to 300 comments. Let's go to 500. I think Noopy is really good at helping push that engagement. But that's how you reach more and more people. And then tagging, you and your team do an amazing job at making sure that you're tagging people in your posts or your lives, because your primary means of content is lives, right? And just adding that engagement to reach more people. So all in all, first start posting where you're comfortable with. And then once you've become a consistent, maybe it's a month, maybe it's a couple months, start adding on platforms that your ideal client or consumer is hanging out on.
Right. Well, I think that is amazing advice, and I appreciate you so much. And I want to encourage everybody to get in contact with Kara because she's an amazing resource. Listen, have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk soon, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Russ. Bye, everyone.
Well, that was an amazing start to the show. Kara is really somebody I wanted to have on here tonight. And since she couldn't be here live, there's ways to work with everything. But next, we got Cami Hoyza waiting, the birthday girl. Hi. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Actually, it was yesterday was your birthday, right?
Yeah, but when you get this age, it's the whole week.
You just keep going.
Yeah, my parents just sent me a big one of those big fruit bouquets today, and we were just munching on that before we started here today.
That's
so if there's fruit in my teeth, just
no. Yes, well, I'm telling you, June is an awesome month for birthdays because mine is coming right up, and so we are June birthday people. There you go. And so
that's why we get along so well, I guess.
Yes, we're looking younger every year.
Every year.
So listen, Cami, when we first met, you were such a great resource for so many things that I did, and social media was definitely one of them. And so why don't you give everybody just a little blip on who you are and how you're involved in social media?
Sure. So my name is Cami Hueza, obviously, and I'm Cami Chat everywhere. So if you want to go find me on the socials, I'm Cami Chat in almost every platform. And I started in social media over 50, actually 16 years ago now. I was one of the early adopters of social media for brands. So I started working with brands and helping them with their social media strategies. One of my very, very first campaigns, well, the very first campaign was SeaWorld San Antonio. We launched a roller coaster together using influencers, actually, which we didn't call them that. They were roller coaster enthusiasts, is what they were, and they were blogging and they were, posting on all over the internet. So it was really exciting, and that was really, I mean, once you got a taste of that idea of community coming together and like really doing something that really worked. That's where I started. So I started with that, and then I slowly but surely built my agency, and now Zoetica Media is here located in Houston, and we work with brands to help them to build their social media strategies and to be visible online. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and great job, by the way, and all that you do. But before we get deep into the conversation, let's get Mr. Alan Hennessy in the room here. He's ready. Whoop whoop. There he is. Oh,
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, buddy.
How are we?
how you doing, Alan?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It's late night here, but you know what? You can't be missing things like this. Always a pleasure to be on and to share the stage as well with my good friend Cami as well. So, how are you?
Oh,
How's everyone today?
good, good. And yes, it's always Cammy's here to make us look good. And so we yes, you're a night owl and I appreciate you hanging out late at
Mhm.
night. You know, you are the digital mentor. Give us a little insight into Alan and the digital mentor.
Well, where do you start? Yeah, I help people to, I suppose, to navigate the digital landscape is what I like to say, because it is a landscape, and so many people make the mistake of saying, "Oh, I can't understand this social media," when in actual fact, it's quite easy when you simplify it back. So I help them to simplify it and understand it, and easier in ways that will help them to, I suppose, grow and also be more visible and build their brand awareness for their companies or for themselves, whether it be solo or entrepreneurs or whatever it may be. So that's sort of what I do. I also have Compass Media, which is a digital marketing agency here in Dublin, and it's been around for the last not as long as Cami, but about 10 years. So it's yeah, but we obviously we help people, businesses and corporate entities and stuff like that, to deliver digital marketing, social media, all the works as well. So that's a bit about me, but I am the digital mentor, as they say. The only reason, yeah, and I'm not being big headed when I say that. The only reason I call that my name, that is because everyone when they meet me say, oh, or if they find out talking to someone who wants to know about social or digital, they say, oh, talk to Alan Hennessy. He's the digital mentor. So the name stuck, and I was sort of playing around with the name, and Cami was actually the one who said, use it. That's the one. That's the one.
I
After
did. I was
the,
like, we were on one of these late night phone calls, and he was telling me this, and I'm like, well, that's the name. Like, why are we talking about this anymore? Just use
Right.
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no.
we built
It's
a
it
brand around it, So
yeah.
that's the way it works.
It basically it captures who you are, Alan, because you have been a mentor to me
Mhm.
from the beginning as far as helping me grow and all of that. And so, that's what people are looking for now. They, with their business, with all that they're doing, they know that they should be using some social media, but they really don't know how to get started. Cami, give us some ideas.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, don't think of it as getting started in social media. What you need to be doing is getting connected with people on a social media channel.
Right.
That's what needs to happen. Really nothing else. It's really all it is a extension of your networking in person. Hi, D. Scott Smith. Mr. Scott is in the house. So and exactly, these people that you're seeing them show up right here. The people that are here to connect with each other and support each other in everything that they do. You want those kind of people in your audience and in your your customer base. And so that's really what I see it as. And so in the beginning, it'll feel very lonely. So the first thing you should do is find a couple of people to follow and then just like engage, engage, engage. You can post, and you should post, so that when they go to your site, they can see what you're about. But you should be spending, I'd say the 80-20 rule should be 80% engagement, 20% posting.
Yeah. I can't agree more with that, because people don't realize that, if you're not pouring into other people and giving and reaching out and engaging and caring about what they are doing, they're not going to really care about what you're doing. If you want people to be interested in you, you have to be interested in them. And I think that is a huge point. Alan, take it from there.
Yeah, I totally agree with Cami, and see that's one of the biggest things that people they don't understand. Like, like people treat digital different than what they would treat treat a person if they met them in person. That type of way. So where I always say to people is like, at the end of the day, okay, there's a computer screen. We're thousands of miles apart, but we're still engaging here. We're still talking like we would if we were in the room together. There is absolutely no difference. And I think that's the biggest thing that people find hard to get over. But I think the most important thing is to engage with people, is to have them conversations. I see people online where they'll put up this fantastic post and someone will come along and they'll just put a thumbs up to it. That really doesn't mean anything. Okay, that's saying, yes, I've acknowledged that you wrote this, but it doesn't give me an insight on how you felt about the post, how you feel about what's your opinion on it. And if you start sharing your opinions and start engaging with people on these conversations, that's how you build your network. And that's how you build a trust and also likability, because people start to take notice of you. And when they start doing that, that's going to help you to build. Everyone can write a post on Facebook or do a LinkedIn update or whatever, but it's about understanding what type of content you're going to deliver. And is it of value to the people that are reading it? And that's the most important part here is adding value to someone's life. Because if they're taking the time out to read your content, you want to be able to engage them. You want to entertain them or inform them. And they're the most important parts of all of social media.
Yeah.
And he's Alan walks the walk when he talks about this. So the way I met Alan is because when Madeline and I had our Communities That Convert podcast for 2 years, he was just a loyal listener, showed up all the time, let us know that he was listening and he was connecting with us. And he in his own right is extremely, prolific and had his own podcast, and he showed up for us. And I don't know, I mean, how could you not love this man? So I'm just saying, but that's part of it, because he engaged with us and we got to know him and we loved him. And in return, I've engaged back with him and we've gone back and forth. There's been a lot of connection in that front. I think we've helped each other just about as much as you can. So.
Well, and I think that is so critical, because when you're able to work together, collaborate, because you've built community, and this is where it all starts, and it goes back to the first thing that you said, Cami. In the beginning, where do you start? You start by engaging and reaching out to people. And sometimes that is lonely when you don't know a lot of people online, but you keep going. And what happens is people slowly start reciprocating that. You start building community. And I'm a big proponent on, Alan knows this. So tomorrow morning, Global Tea Break, everybody. Got to go to globalteabreak.com, come in there. You got a community right there. I know nobody the first time I'm in there. I go in and I engage every single person in that room while we're on, and I end up moving, a dozen of them immediately onto one-on-one chats. And so what ends up happening is then I get an opportunity to get to know them, show them I care about what they're doing, listen to what they're all about. Then you find out, not only do you build connection and community, but then you find out where you can help each other. Right, Alan?
Yeah. And that's the key to it, and that is what it's all about. Like as Cami said, it's the gateway to what you're going to do. Whether that, look, at the end of the day, there is people that you need to be doing business, and you need to be, your business needs to thrive, but your business will thrive. But what social does for your business is it opens the door to what you have to offer, because once you start using social media, you get an audience that starts to know you that may have never known you before. Like for instance, the perfect example is yourself and Cami. Never knew you until such time as we started to engage online. Now I regard both of you as very close friends, but also collaborators, and also people that I can turn to and ask for advice. And that's what it is. And a lot of people, if for someone who's starting out, if you go online and you start looking at these particular influencers or just people in their business sector and start asking questions, you'd be guaranteed that they will come back to you and they will answer these things. So you're never going to be alone. I always say to people, if they see me online, if you have a question, reach out to me. Let's have a chat. Let's see how I can help you. And I don't mean that by, taking you on as a mentor. Like, if you have a quick question, of course, I'm going to try and answer for you, or I'm going to help you. And that goes for nearly all of the influencers that are online. They're more than happy to share their things. Like, I started the Social Media Talks podcast, and the only reason I wanted to start it was because I wanted to talk to all of these influencers, because I was fascinated to learn their take on it. And by doing that, I've built up a huge database of, the Rolodex that you used to have. Well, it's like that. But it's great because now I can turn to people and say, like, I have this idea. What do you think? And that's the great thing about it. But social media it's a mindset. You have to start having that digital mindset of thinking it's not about me. It's about who I'm posting this content to. Who is it that's looking at it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's so true, because you got to be paying attention to that. Cami, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, I was. Yeah. Well, I can. So this is something that kind of reminds me of a little bit. But when I moved to Houston in 2008, I didn't know anybody here, like nobody. But I was on Twitter and I was blogging at the time. And there was a lot of people that followed me on that blog. And I looked on Twitter and I found that I knew 2 people in Houston from Twitter. And so, you know what I did? Immediately, I reached out to them. Like, hey, I'm moving to Houston. One of them was Sandra Fernandez. Somebody tag her, Sandra Fernandez, if you know her. And she and I met for lunch. And that was a real world thing. So another thing I wanted to mention is that social media isn't just online. It kind of moves between the worlds of online and offline. And so I met with her for lunch, and then she just started introducing me to a lot of people in town, because she knew a lot of people. She was actually she was the social media director for the library of Houston, the Houston Library at the time, and she knew a lot of people. And so she introduced me to Jennifer Tejada, and Jennifer Tejada worked at MD Anderson as their first social media director. And then she and I started talking about, wouldn't it be cool if we had a place to meet for social media people, that's different than just the AMA or the PRSA or, all the acronym groups. And so we made one of our own called SMBHOU, Social Media Breakfast of Houston. And we started meeting, and that grew into, it's been 13 years. I've been kind of running that, but that came from connections on social media, right? That we connected and then we collaborated, connect and collaborate.
Well,
Yeah.
and that is what you do. See, I mean, it takes intention and it takes some action, like you're saying. And that is why I've always been a huge proponent. So before COVID, and when we weren't nearly as connected online as we are now, I would go into a networking meeting, and my goal was to at least touch every person in that room. At least say hi, at least smile and wave at them, at least talk to them for a minute, whatever, to do that. And I think, but I had to intentionally reach out to them. It's the same thing on social media, right, Alan? You got to reach out to them. And just like Cammie's saying, make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well with that, especially when it comes to reaching out to people, is that, as Cammie says, take it offline as well. It's like, we know Ted Rubin, and I think we spoke about this before, but I remember we're talking to Ted, and he done a testimonial from it, and what he said was the difference is that, you know, you start it online, you take it offline, but you also bring it back online. So you're always aware of what's going on in that person's life. So the next time that you meet them, that you're going to be able to hold that conversation and say, you know, how did you go on? How did you do? You know, I seen you had your daughter's birthday, whatever it may be. But that person then feels connected, that you are also talking to them. It's, you know, we do it with our friends, we do it with our colleagues who we work with, you know, in the real world, as they say. So there's no difference between the online world and the offline world. It's just about using a, you know, look, at the end of the day, if you want to put it down to really brass tacks, it's just a computer. And you know, I always say it anytime I'm training. The first thing I'll always say is always remember there's someone at the other end of that computer that you're
Right.
posting on. And
Yeah.
then the start of this realization comes down and say, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. You know, like, we can push content out as much as we want, but if it doesn't have meaning, it doesn't have value, and it doesn't connect, it's of no use to anybody. So you've got to be able to think about what it is that you're delivering to your community.
Right. And how do you know? You know by paying attention, by listening, getting to know people, and what do they really want, you know? It was interesting, Alan, that we just had Ted Rubin on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott this Wednesday.
Mhm.
So I'd had him on Marketing with Russ a while back, and he came onto the Experience, and Scott and I got a chat with him for quite a while. And one thing he was talking about is reaching out. He used Twitter to reach out to people and put out little snippets of content to see what people were interested in, to
Yeah.
see what they grabbed onto. And then he would utilize that to go even further. And Cammie, you're nodding. I know that your time is short, but I want to bring you back in here before you have to run. And I think that's so
Yeah.
important and I know you do that too, Cammie. You're always kind of seeing what's going on in the landscape.
Yeah, I really do. I run towards things that are scary. I try new things, and I feel like that, that is the way that you stay fresh. That's the way you stay young. And I was just thinking about Ken Dunner here because I was just looking at what he was saying. That's what I was looking down at. As I was looking at his comment, and he was saying he turned 65 on June 2nd. And yes, I'm all for that, because you're here, you're learning new things. That is what keeps you young. That is what keeps you young. And for the young people out there, that's what keeps you motivated to the next thing that's going to be big. Because I've been young too and known very little, and you just keep pressing forward. And guess what? People love that energy. They follow that energy. They want to be around that energy.
Right.
And if you are really like out for everybody else's good, and people can tell. They can tell if you're out for their good or your own. They really, really can. And so I just, I press on and say, hey, how I look around me and think, how can I help other people to get what they want? If you can help other people get what they want, you can get everything that you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That is so good, because you're helping and caring about people. I love the quote by John Maxwell that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Because if you're caring and giving to other people, then they want to care and be part of what you're doing. And so I think that's so important. It does come back around. So
It
Hey,
does.
I
And
want-
one other thing I was going to say is, to give you an example, in this last couple of months, I know you guys know because I've been nonstop about the book. So I just published a book, and Russ knows what that's like because befuddled. Anyway, I was around for that too. So yes. Oh, there's the book.
very
Alan got
nice.
the book. Thank you, Alan.
Very nice.
My product placement guy. Oh my gosh, this is great. Anyway, this book was written by
Vanna.
36 authors in 10 countries over the entire world,
Wow.
36 marketing experts. Can you imagine? And so I had taken on the marketing for the book. Of course I did. I said, I'll help do that. And, you really do have to think about your audience as being influencers in and of their own right, because every person has something that they are amazing at. and you
Yeah.
need to be the minor of amazing, right? So amazing marketing book. You have to be a minor of amazing. And so that book is amazing because every single person wrote about their topic and the place that they're an expert. But even your audience, think about this. You are not like, and I don't look at myself this way either. You're not better than your audience. You are just a conduit to community for your audience. And so, as a conduit to community, that is your role. Your role is to lift up the people that follow you. And Russ, you do this so well. That's why I can say this right on the show, because this is
Mm.
basically your superpower. Like, put an S on his thing, or maybe it's a C for connector. But anyway, so that is what you do so well. And I so appreciate you. And I cannot take I mean, you've gone through a lot in the last couple of months and so forth. And every time you see somebody, you need to let them know how much they mean to you and how much you appreciate them. And so that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, how
Yeah.
much I appreciate you. So
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I think that makes everybody better. That makes the world better when we're kind, caring, and we work to lift each other up and work together instead of working against each other. And I think that is crucial. And so, Cami, I know you've got to run. So I want you to give everybody your gold nugget of this little subject tonight, and then tell them
I
how
just
do they
did.
get in touch with you.
Sure.
Buy
Like,
the
I have to have
book.
another gold nugget.
Another
Buy the
gold
book.
nugget, and we're gonna get the book too. Yes.
No, I would really appreciate if people would buy the book and leave a review, because right now the book is being considered for being translated into other languages and being
Ah,
all over the world. And the only way that we really can get that is they look at especially at reviews. So I would really appreciate that. And I think you guys would love it too, because this book is like a really great manual. And it's a quick read. It's really good. Alan wrote a nice review for it already, so thank you, Alan. But anyway, so the golden nugget I would say is just moving back to the conduit to community. I would just say that's probably the golden nugget for today, is that conduit to community and how important that is. You can basically do almost anything with a community that's willing to support you. You
right.
can almost do nothing by yourself. So if you're trying to get people to pay attention to you, then pay attention to people, and people will lift you up and all boats rise. I know that's like a little bit whatever. Don't think of people as competitors, because even if they get something and you wish that you would have gotten it, remember that because they got it means that you could have too.
Yeah.
So just keep moving forward and love people for who they are, and be happy for people when they have success. And that's, I guess, it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's too much golden nuggets for one day, but I love you guys so
Yeah,
much.
and all of your connection information is right there,
Oh,
magically
yeah.
appearing. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Honestly, LinkedIn is a great way. Like, DMs on LinkedIn right now seems to be where I'm really living a lot of time. I am on all the other platforms as well, but right now LinkedIn is a big one. You can just also jump over to CamiHoyza.com or CamiChat.com, any of those two. And that gives you all of the stuff that's going on in my world, like the events, because I do live streams. I do a Smart Social Mastery group where we help communicators to get their messages out. And there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I'm giving away a lot of free content. And I'm very much a hands-on, get it done kind of person. I will teach you how to actually do that thing and make it happen for yourself. So, and a lot of it's free. So take advantage.
There you go. There you go. And by the way, the link for Cami's book will be in the comments, and we'll
Thank
have it
you.
easy so you can click on it and easily get to that and buy your copy, like Alan, who's dancing around with his copy currently. So
It's fabulous. It is a fabulous. It's so well written. There's so many. Like, I'm doing this nearly whatever, about 15 years now, and even there's still nuggets in there that I go, oh. So it's a constant learning. It's constantly you're getting so much great advice and expertise from these people in this book. There's so many amazing people in it, and yeah, it's well worth investing. and it will do you no end of good. It'll be just fabulous for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it comes from Mark Schaefer's Rise community. So it is a community written book. So really the whole community thing, I guess that's my theme today, right? Community, community, and more community, because that's really the only way you get anything done really in
Right.
this world.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is why I love both of you, because I'm all about connection and community building, because we are definitely better together, and I am way better because of both of you. And so, Cami, thank you. I know you got to run. So thanks so much
I
for
got
being
banned.
here.
They're going to want me to come. So
Go play, play, play. We'll see you.
yeah, bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Well, Alan,
Yeah.
I tell you, now you wrote a book too. So tell everybody about the book that you just came out
I
with. I
wrote.
got a copy of
I
that too.
have so many books here at this stage.
I know it. You're just got them covered.
Yeah. No. I wrote a book last year, and I tell you one of the reasons why I wrote the book, is because I've had so many people saying, "Oh, I don't know where to start, or I don't know what to do, or I am up and running on social media, but it's too overwhelming, and I don't understand how you do SEO, and I don't understand how you do social content. I don't know how you do." It's all of these questions. So the easiest thing for me to do is because I can write blogs till I'm blue in the face. But blogs can only give you, and this is one of the things that I learned about, because it's obviously my first book, and it's a bestseller, which I'm delighted about that. But what I was able to find is because normally I'd write a blog and I'd say, yeah, that's great, and I'd still have so much more content. Whereas with the book, I was just able to keep going, and that really happened sort of in the third or fourth chapter. I went, oh, I can just keep going on this. I can keep explaining more. So that was it, and that's why I called it solving the digital marketing jigsaw puzzle, because it is a puzzle and it's like a jigsaw. It's when putting all the pieces together. And once you start putting them all together, then you start to see, that horizon. You start to see how it's working. And you end up with this great piece of content that you can pull together. And it's, that's the whole reason. Because I remember when I started out first, there wasn't anything like this around. It was, digital marketing for dummies, or the dummies books, and they were of no benefit to me. So like that, I learned from so much years of experience of doing this and getting it wrong. And so I'm able to fast track the people who read the book, because I'm fast tracking you, because you won't have to make the mistakes that I made to get to where we are. And it's simplified. It's so simple. It's just there's so much extras in it. There's huge amount of added ebooks and bonus content, worksheets. There's even a mini course at the end of it. So there's loads in it. But we're not here to talk about my book. We're here to talk about social media. I was just thinking earlier on, you were talking about helping each other, and we were talking about collaborations and stuff like that. And it just something that triggered in my head when I was talking to you earlier on was just when the pandemic started. Everyone was scrambling, trying to figure out what they were going to do, how they were going to get, their business done and stuff like that. And I noticed a lot of people were sort of, especially on, I think it was on Twitter more so than anything, were saying, "Oh, I'm having terrible trouble with Zoom," because that was what people were using, and it just became a huge part of everyone's life. So I said, okay, right, let's do something simple here. So I was watching comments that were rolling on Twitter. And it's as you said about what Ted said, about putting things out and seeing if they work. So I put a short little video out of how you log on to Zoom. Then I put one out of how you just navigate around the actual, where you find stuff. And two very simple videos. There was no like major sales pitch or anything for us. And I sort of just put them out there, and I got I'd say about 150, 200 comments on some of the posts saying, "Oh, this is so good. This is so good." And I had an actual lady who was in a solicitor's office. This solicitors has been around, lawyers have been around for the last 100 years. It's been generation upon generation. She rang me and says, all of our partners are technophobes. They haven't got a clue, but they know they need to use Zoom. So she says, I was wondering, would it be possible to do a training session with them? And I says, yeah, of course. So got them on, done the training session anyway, Grant. She says, how much do I said, you don't owe me anything. Because at the end of the day, people were in blind panics back when COVID started. They really, really didn't know where they were going, what the business. And I just says, look, it's not about that. What I seen is I seen that you were online. I seen that people were online looking for this type of information. And I gave the course for nothing. Now, that was whatever it was 3 years ago, nearly 4 years ago. About 2 months ago, that same lady rang me back and says, we have a new girl that's starting in the office and we need her to be trained on social media and digital marketing. You were very kind to us. You were very good to us when the pandemic started and getting us on Zoom and getting us sorted. So we want you to come down and train this person. So what I'm saying here is Russ, that if you watch what's going on online and you keep an eye on the stuff that's trending, stuff that's happening. Okay, ChatGPT, all of these AIs, they're all happening online. Learn about it. Learn about it. See how you can use it, how you can add value to someone else's life.
Right.
But the thing about it is when you start to watch what's going on online, you'll get very quickly the ideas. It's research. It's being able to understand what your customers are talking about, what they're looking for. And they will come back to you. Like, it may not be today or tomorrow. Remember, social media, digital marketing is a long game. It's not an overnight success. If it is, fantastic. But 9 times out of 10, it takes time. It takes time to build trust and to build likability and to build brand awareness. But if you keep working at it, it does work. It does
Yeah.
work. The results are you're the perfect results. Like, we met whatever it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, and you said, "Oh, I'm going to get into live streaming." Now every time I turn on, there's marketing with Russ, there's Russ selfies, there's videos, there's messages. This is what I'm talking about. You embraced it and you learned it and you took it on, and your life is more fulfilled. You've more people in your community now than ever. And this is so great. And it's always when you say, oh, you were very great to help me. I look at you and I go, I was a small part of that to help Russ to get to where he was today. Very small part, because you put in the legwork, but you kept asking the questions, kept feeding in and feeding off the information that you were receiving. And that's what it's all about. And that's how social media, digital marketing can work, especially with social. Start connecting, start learning, and start engaging. So
There you
important.
go. I don't think we can top that. I'm telling you that you were a huge part of me getting started. And it was because I paid attention to what you were doing, just like we talked about earlier. And I learned even without us talking. And then I brought it into the conversation. We had that conversation. So complete, gigantic gold nugget, mic drop for you. So I don't think we could top that. So why don't you just go with telling everybody, how do they get in touch with you if they really want to have that conversation with the digital mentor?
Well, it's easy. You just reach out to me you'll find on the website, thedigitalmentor.ie. You can find me there. There's ways to contact me all there. You can email me, alan@thedigitalmentor.ie, or you can just connect with me online. If you're similar to Cami, I'm a huge fan, and I always have been, and I always will be a LinkedIn man. So if you want to find me on LinkedIn, that's where you're going to get me more so than anything. But email me. Look at the website. There's loads of ways of contacting me. You can get on my calendar and stuff like that. But I'm always happy to have conversations. And as I said, I only put out a post today. It doesn't cost anything to chat. Doesn't cost anything to chat, and that's the thing. And I think that's important, Russ, because people should chat. People should reach out to the people and ask for help, or even get their opinions on things. And because you can spend months or days or weeks or whatever it may be, posting out content that's just not hitting it. And if you just ask someone for it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an influencer, it can be people that are in your community, ask the question, does this post resonate with you? Simple as that. Be
Right.
honest, be brutally honest. It's as simple as that, because they will tell you, oh, well, I don't know about that and whatever. Look at other people's content, what they're doing. Don't copy it, but learn from it. What way
Right.
are their emails structured? What way are they structuring their posts? Are they using a lot of emojis? Are they using a lot of text? Are they using small bits of text? Look at these people that are having, you'll see, if you look on LinkedIn, 120 people have commented on this post. There's something in that.
Mm-hmm.
So use your social media for research, because once you start finding finding this information and start looking at it from a different angle, you'll learn so much, and you'll fast track what you do.
Right.
And if you want even more, just go out and buy the book. It's as simple
And of
as that.
course,
You
yes,
have to
that
get a
book-
plug in, Russ. You have
There
to
you
do
go.
a plug.
Well, the book link is in the comments too. If you want to get Alan's book, we've got it right there for you. It's clickable. It's ready. It is there for you to go get Alan's book. And look at that. There it is. So
Hey,
go
there you
get
are.
Tammy's book, get Alan's book. Now listen, if you came in late to the show today, we're so glad you're here. If you're watching on replay and you haven't watched the whole show, you need to go back and watch again. You can go to our YouTube page right there, russreels.live, and you can watch the whole thing again, or you can just watch it on social media again on replay. But you don't want to miss what Kara had to say, what Cami had to say, and the discussion with Alan and Cami and I, because there was so much great content. And Alan, you've wrapped it up so nicely.
Don't forget,
that
the tea break is tomorrow as well, Russ. You got to get it in. We got to get it in. We want to
That-
see new people in at the tea
Yes.
break tomorrow.
Yes. So globalteabreak.com, globalteabreak.com is also in all the comments. And so go there to globalteabreak.com, sign up for tomorrow. Just come join us, right?
Yeah,
Just
jump
come in.
on.
It's really simple. Yeah, it is so much fun. And we'll be there 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. What time is it your time, Alan?
It's 3 p.m. GMT.
There you
and
go.
It's 10 a.m. I think Eastern as well. So it's all that we would be delighted to see you. It is a community that really, really wants to help each other, and we're so happy to have you. So you know what I mean. So jump on. It's all for free. You don't have to pay a penny. There's no hidden costs anywhere. Register for free, and you'll never miss another episode.
Yeah. No,
I just
it's
say
amazing.
the same to you, Russ. It's always a pleasure sitting and chatting with you. So much so, and to show you my commitment to you is that it's now 10 to 1 in the
I
morning
know.
on Friday morning. And you know what? I'm delighted to be here. It's a true blessing to be here. You're a good
Well-
friend, and you're a great communicator and connector. It's just phenomenal.
Thank
That's
you.
what makes
Thank
you, Russ.
Well, thank you. Well, you are a huge blessing to me, and just having you here, thank you so much. I have, you have been just an amazing, beyond words friend, and I just want to thank you for all that you do for me, and thank you for all that you've given to the community today. This great information. And
Delighted.
listen,
No problem.
everybody. Don't forget, we're here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. If you go to russreels.live, you can subscribe to our YouTube page and get all of the information you missed tonight and past episodes. So don't forget to do that. And until we see you again, we're going to be here next Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Have a great day and a great life. Thanks, Alan. See you later.
Bye.
Woo!